Beginner gardeners, join me as we go over 4 round beds that have 4-foot diameter that are planted with companion plants with square foot gardening in mind. Now let's get to it. You'll notice that these 4-foot diameter beds are almost like planting 4x4 beds, except you're going to be losing some square footage along the corners. For planning's sake, I assumed that this side was the north side, so I'll be putting all the taller plants to this side. Now, 4 weeks before your last frost, we're going to plant our onion starts. Onion starts can be planted 4 per square foot. And with these, we should be able to get 4 in. But right here, we'll only be able to get 1 and then another 4. Next, we're going to put in some Sweet Alyssum seeds. Sweet Alyssums can be planted 16 per square foot. You're just going to direct seed them, and they are super tiny seeds. You can actually go into this square foot just a little bit. At this time, we're also going to go ahead and install a vertical trellis. And on the back side of this, we're going to plant leafy lettuce. Lettuce can be planted 9 per square foot. Now, what we're going to grow on this trellis should help shade the leafy lettuce going later into the summertime to help prevent it from going to bolt, which means going to flower and going to the seed so soon. It also may get kind of bitter once it starts to warm up. And this vertical trellis will help provide some shade, which will provide cooler soil temperatures. But not to say that this won't need to be pulled out midsummer. Okay, so 2 weeks before our last frost, we're going to direct seed our carrots, which can be planted 16 per square foot. And at this time, we're going to add a couple of radish seeds here, maybe 4 of them. I don't care if you don't like radishes. This isn't for you. This is to help protect whatever we're going to plant right here. Now, when there's no more danger of frost, we're going to put in a dahlia here. Now, this bed is going to mimic one of my favorite beds in my garden. Dahlias you plant with tubers, but they don't take the frost very well, so you'll have to dig them up in the fall if you get a frost where you live. And I'm warning you now, this is going to have herbs and stuff in it, but it's not going to be about the vegetables. From your local nursery, I want you to pick up a couple of different types of thyme plants. You can start them now if you want, but they may be really tiny this year. These will flower so pretty next year because they're perennials and they will come back. I also want you to pick up some English lavender plants. Those will also stay next year and be super pretty. Just go ahead and get yourself a chive plant too, just 1. That'll be around next year, and then next year it'll have those purple pretty little ball flowers on them in the spring. And then right here we're going to add some seeds for some cilantro plants. The reason why I'm not putting something that will stay over the year perennial plant here is because you're going to need to dig up this dahlia in the fall. So let's just go ahead and put an annual plant here like some cilantro, and you can let that go to flower. Now up here we're going to go ahead and add some calendula seeds. Now 2 weeks after your last frost date, we're going to plant a couple of tomato plants here. Make sure that you put some sort of support system in. If you're using determinate tomato plants, you can put something in like a Texas tomato cage. If you're using indeterminate tomato plants, they can vine up to 8 feet. So you're going to want to make sure that you prune them and you also provide adequate support. We're also going to add a couple of marigold plants, and we're going to add some marigolds over here as well. Now remember that trellis over here? We're going to add some cucumber plants, just 2 of them, and you can get these started ahead of time if you want, but not too much, like 2 weeks ahead of time. They grow really fast. And then right here, we're going to add some seeds for a dill plant or add in a dill plant. In this bed here, we're going to add a couple of pepper plants of any variety. And then down here, we're going to add a nasturtium. You can just pop in the seeds if you want. They just don't do frost very well, so make sure that you're past any frost date. Now, for a week after your last frost date, we're going to add some bush bean plants, which can be planted 9 per square foot. We're also going to pick up some rosemary plants from the nursery, and we're going to put a couple of rosemaries in there. Some regions you can keep rosemary in as a perennial plant, and some it dies off. Lastly, to companion with the tomato plant to help increase its flavor and help with the tomato hornworm, we're going to add about 3 basil plants, 1 between the 2 tomato plants here, and then 1 in each of these square foot. If you found this helpful, please let me know in the comments, and please like and follow for more content like this and much more.